Hello, welcome back to, or welcome, I should say. Never mind.
No, you're good.
Welcome back.
Welcome for the first time.
Welcome for the first time to, in English, please. In English, please.
In English, please.
With your boy Peter Vaughn and Rob Mitchell.
That's us.
Hosts. This is a pop culture podcast talking about all things pop culture, comics, movies, video games, just trailers, all these kind of things.
Basically anything where when you're sitting in line at Starbucks and you hear two dudes with braces and glasses talking about something with Marvel and you just want to say to them, in English, please, then that's the stuff we're talking about. So, movies. And anything that just we just get too obsessed with. Peter and I just realized that we will literally sit around and talk about comic book stuff forever. And
we have
why not record it for profit? Yeah, we have done it.
Sitting at the mall talking about Marvel for hours.
Plenty of times. And I think the really cool thing about this podcast is that we have very different interests and opinions about a lot of things. Yeah. So I think it's really cool because it's Peter's super into Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who. We're both into Marvel. I am super into Transformers. Weirdly enough, not a lot of people are really into that these days, but I grew up watching the cartoons and collecting toys. So, I think there's a lot of bases we can cover, and it's gonna be really fun. Wait, say that again?
You're faithful to the franchise.
I am, yeah, dude. I'm too faithful to the franchise. Michael Bay just did a number of those movies, and I'm still here. The comics are really, 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 really good. So
it's all right. J.J. Abrams did a number to my movies, so.
Facts. I mean, but they were good at one point. The Transformers.
Yeah, Star Wars used to be good.
Yeah, but
I really like the middle Star Wars movie, but we'll talk about that some other time.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Star Wars, Peter, I think we got a little Star Wars news to start us off, don't we? That was a great segue. First episode, bang, we're rolling.
Today, they just announced Taika Waititi, the guy who directed Thor Ragnarok and Jojo Rabbit and some other movies. He's going to be directing a new Star Wars film. And they didn't say anything else.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So I'm not heavy into Star Wars. I've seen a handful of the films. But Peter, I mean, you're big into Star Wars.
I'm a big Star Wars fan. I really love Star Wars. Without Star Wars, the world would not be the way it is today. I honestly believe that.
That's sure. My world would be the same.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe not.
Maybe not, man. I definitely had some lightsaber toys as a kid, so I wouldn't have had those.
I have had some lightsabers.
We would not have had Bible Man in the same way.
That's very true. Bible Man would not have been around without...
For anybody who doesn't know what Bible Man is, Peter and I both are we grew up in conservative Christian households, I'd like to say.
We weren't allowed to watch anything but Christian family programming
for a decent amount of our childhood.
Yeah.
There's this show called Bible Man that is basically Batman and Star Wars combined. And I haven't watched in many years, but I'm sure it's one of the cringiest things.
I've only seen one episode, but it's been seared into my mind forever, and I will never forget Bible Man.
I was a huge fan of it because he had a black sidekick, and I was like, "That's cool.
Wow,
I like that guy." Yeah.
I'm sure people weren't allowed to watch that because
there was no Black Robin to Batman, and there weren't really black characters in Star Wars for a long time. So
yeah,
I liked seeing someone that looked like me in
except
Bible.
Lando. Lando was in the original trilogy, but he was the token black guy that you always had in the 80s.
Yeah, but that was what, the second or third Star Wars film?
It was the second Star Wars film.
Oh, it was the second one. Okay, well, I don't know. So anyway,
that was made right at the start of the 80s, and you always had one token black guy. That way, oh yeah, we have black people in our movies.
And I thought Lando was a pretty cool dude.
Oh man, he's the coolest dude. Billy D. Williams, he's amazing.
And later Donald Glover. I mean, dude.
Oh man, Donald Glover really captured Lando Calrissian.
Yeah, dude.
He was the best part of the Solo film, definitely.
Oh, I have not seen it, but I am a huge fan of Donald Glover, and I should have seen it, but I haven't.
Yeah, he's really good in it. He's good in that. He's good in Spider-Man: Homecoming. And I
Yeah,
think those are the only two Donald Glover movies I've seen.
he's been in a couple other things, but what was I gonna say? Oh, right. So we're talking about Taika Waititi, right?
Yeah, Taika Waititi.
So there's a couple. They've announced Disney that there's a couple of Star Wars films coming out that have directors tied to it or producers.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of information. So Taika Waititi is the most recent one, but Kevin Feige, president of Marvel Studios, is saying that he wants to get behind a Star Wars film in
I
the
would
near.
love that.
I'm sure he's super busy, but it would actually be really cool because a while ago Collider tweeted out to their following, like, which MCU actor would you like to see pop up in a Star Wars movie? And Chris Evans responded to it and said, me.
Really?
So, yeah, it could be a little reunion. Kevin Feige, Chris Evans back together, just like old times, Captain America, you know.
I
I think
wonder
it'd be good, but
what role Chris Evans could play in a Marvel movie. Like he isn't quite typecast, but he's known for being a really stand-up guy as Captain America. Like, can do no wrong.
yeah, well, he plays douchebags really well. We forget about that, but
Yeah.
that's how he started off.
I mean, yeah, as a Human
well, not
Torch.
douchebags, but like goofballs. Yeah, like Human Torch, the Losers, and Scott Pilgrim.
Oh man,
Even
I've never
Knives
seen
Out
that
more
movie.
recently.
Huh?
Even Knives Out more
I've
recently.
yeah, I need to see that.
Well, yeah, you gotta watch it, dude. It's pretty good. I'm surprised you haven't gotten spoiled on anything yet.
Nah.
But yeah, so that's one thing. So I think that's the next movie to come out might be that. Who knows? They haven't really said much.
So
Ryan Johnson.
yeah, Ryan Johnson was rumored a few years back to be directing a whole trilogy of Star Wars films.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how much you know about the last trilogy that came out. Ryan Johnson did the middle one, which is my favorite Star Wars movie, and I will stand on that hill and die on that hill.
Well, there you go. Maybe.
But a lot of people
lucky.
didn't like his movie.
So what do people not like about what's the middle one called again?
The Last Jedi.
The Last Jedi. Okay, I did hear some controversy about that film. But do you think that they'll actually bring him back to do that trilogy, or do
I
you
really
think that
hope
Taika
so.
Waititi?
Because if he can get the entire trilogy to himself, I think he could really like knock it out of the park. I think the worst part about Ryan Johnson directing The Last Jedi was that he had to ride off of what he thought J.J. Abrams had set up in the first one, which J.J. Abrams may not have set that up or may not have had that planned. And then he had to set up J.J. Abrams to direct after him, and it didn't really work that well.
Well,
So
I think
Ryan Johnson should have gotten the entire trilogy to direct, or J.J. Abrams should have got the entire trilogy to direct.
I think
for Ryan to direct it, but yeah.
Yeah, I think I'll most likely watch Ryan Johnson's Star Wars. I'm gonna go back and watch all the ones that I missed, but mainly, funny enough, because we just talked about Knives Out, he also directed Knives Out.
Exactly, that's why. I
yeah, so I think it would be cool. I think Star Wars could use some new genre direction, if that makes sense. Like, I would love to see some
I think so too.
War in space.
That's what I'm thinking with Taika Waititi. I think it's going to be a pretty funny Star Wars movie. The thing is, with the Star Wars story movies like Solo and Rogue One, they don't really have Jedi or Sith in it, and it's sort of like it's good, but it's not. It's missing something. There's that big hole, that Jedi-sized hole in your heart, where you're like, I want some lightsabers. Where are my lightsabers?
Do you think that they might be in talks with Taika Waititi to take over an entire trilogy coming up?
If he knocks it out of the park with this film, he will get more Star Wars films, because Disney really wants Star Wars to be the other Marvel. They want to have a movie, at least one movie coming out every year, and that's what they've been doing since 2015.
So I think Waititi's kind of an obvious choice at this point. He's been involved with so many space films.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think it's just
because he did help with like Endgame and whatnot. Because
he did consulting on there.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, sure. It's I think Taika Waititi is a very interesting filmmaker. I think that I will watch him do a Star Wars project because I think the things that he does are very weird, and sometimes I don't like the things that he does.
He did an
And
episode for The Mandalorian, which was really well received. I haven't seen it, but I heard it was really well received.
okay, see, I wasn't a huge Thor Ragnarok fan, but I like how quirky and controversial he can be.
It was a
But
beautiful looking film. Like the color palette in that movie, and because he was basically an indie director before that, there's some
right,
really good shots. Some of the humor is just kind of falls flat, but some of the other humor is hilarious. I love seeing Thor coming into the Grand Master's palace for the first time to the tune of Willy Wonka, and he's just
that
screaming,
was.
and then it just hard cuts to him screaming in the hall. It's
I thought that was so weird. I just didn't get that joke at all. Um, but I do. I think Taika Waititi is extremely talented. I think that I would enjoy. I think Thor Ragnarok is one of the most fun Marvel films, but I didn't enjoy it that much because I wanted some more character development. I guess I wanted it to be a little bit deeper than just funny. And even with it being a lot of just funny, I still didn't think it was that funny. So that's, you know what I mean, like that's kind of my, like, that was my thing with the movie.
I think that's where this podcast is going to shine, because I completely disagree. I I think Thor gets some really good character development. He learns that he's been being held back this entire time, and the hammer isn't his power; it's him. He's the power. That's
Well,
great
yeah,
development. But
I no, I like that. I just felt like a lot of the character development was downplayed by the comedy. Like I just thought that there should have been more moments for that to shine. But you know, that's, we could talk about Thor Ragnarok another time.
yeah, I
Uh,
suppose it's on topic.
yeah, let's speculate about what this Star Wars film could be. So let's say maybe it's not a trilogy. There were a lot of canceled Star Wars projects that maybe Taika Waititi would want to return to.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a canceled Boba Fett film,
Yeah,
which I
I
think,
I was not. That's the thing that I had with the Solo film is like, okay, I'm sure it'll be good, but I don't really need it. I don't need a backstory on Solo. And the same thing with Boba Fett is I don't really need a backstory on Boba Fett. He's a cool guy in the original trilogy for the like 5 minutes we have him on screen, but I don't need to see him.
I don't really think that a Boba Fett film is going to happen because we have the Mandalorian, and that seems to have
That's
probably
very
taken
true.
some
Yeah.
of those. Yeah, it probably takes a lot of the creative elements that existed for that film were
Hmm.
ideas from it. There was a Untitled Jabba the Hutt film. Maybe Taika
Really?
Waititi. That seems, yeah. Um,
Again, I don't need that.
but that seems like something Taika Waititi would be interested in.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe. I
So
don't.
what it says is that you know, Jabba Hutt, the well-known crime lord, Disney was looking to develop solo films for Jabba the Hutt. It was being considered as one of the next Star Wars story titles. So that was along with the solo film back in 2017. But it wasn't the first time that they had actually considered it. In 2015, Guillermo del Toro had mentioned something along the lines of pitching Lucasfilms a Jabba the Hutt solo film.
Um, well, I remember him talking about it, but he wanted to do like an R-rated movie or something like that, Star Wars, which would be unheard of. The highest rating we've ever had on a Star Wars movie is PG-13 for Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah,
Everything
that'd be
else,
kind of crazy. So you think that could maybe be what Taika Waititi would want to pick up?
I I don't know. I don't think so.
So
I could see him doing something about a bounty hunter or something like that. I
here's
could
what
also
I
do
actually,
just a Jedi versus Sith thing set in a different time though.
yeah,
So there's a lot of different times that have been established in old Star Wars lore before Disney took over.
mm-hmm.
Right now, the only things that are canon are like the prequel times, the original trilogy times, and then the sequel times. Um, so I would love to see a different time period, like uh, completely new
Yeah.
Jedi, new Sith, new power struggle. I don't want to see more Empire and Rebels.
So you don't want to go back in time. You want to go forward, see new characters.
Either or, forwards or backwards. The thing about the Star Wars universe is that it doesn't really change that much. They've had lightsabers for a long time, as far as I understand. So,
well, then maybe this next canceled Star Wars project might be something up your alley. It might not. But there was an untitled Obi-Wan film.
Oh, well, they canceled the Obi-Wan film, but they're gonna do an Obi-Wan Disney Plus show starring Ewan McGregor, who played Obi-Wan in the prequel trilogy, and I am absolutely gonna eat that up.
Well, in that case, never mind. It's probably not Taika Waititi's film.
Yeah, I mean, he might be hired to direct an episode or something like that. I am so excited for the Obi-Wan Disney Plus show, though. That's probably not coming out for a few years, but...
Well, there was also some sort of Star Wars film that they were working on, like, back in the 80s that was maybe... Or Lucas said that he had the idea for writing a film just about robots with no humans in it.
I could see that happening. That would definitely be up Taika Waititi's alley.
I would love to see that, honestly. Like, I obviously huge fan of things like Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
So a robot-centered thing. Dude, I did robotics in high school. I would watch that with Taika Waititi. Weird robot humor.
Did you see Rogue One, the Star Wars movie?
I have not.
Okay.
I will watch it, but I have not.
Yep.
That's actually the Star Wars movie I'm the most interested in watching, is Rogue One.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Alan Tudyk, one of my favorite actors, he plays the robot in that movie, K2SO. And he's just hilarious. He's so good.
I like Alan Tudyk a lot.
He's
really entertaining.
If you like Alan Tudyk, you should watch Firefly, man.
I know. I feel like that's the one like major nerd property that I haven't seen.
We need to watch Firefly together. It's only a season, and you'll love it.
We will have to do that. I know one of my favorite, like, more recent Alan Tudyk roles, I believe, I could be wrong, I'm trying to look it up right now, but my internet's going a little slow. Yep, Alan Tudyk. So currently, he's actually voicing the Joker in the Harley Quinn TV series.
There's a Harley Quinn TV series?
Yeah, on the on not Disney, but the DC streaming platform.
Man, that's interesting.
I've been watching that, and it's been pretty interesting. I think it's like kind of funny, but it's I don't know. It's entertaining. It's very entertaining. But yeah, no, it's very interesting to hear him take on the Joker. He is like Alan Tudyk is seriously one of the most like underrated voice actors out there.
He is a great voice actor, and he's a great just actor in general.
Yeah, he's a good actor. I'll never forget the role he played in the Jackie Robinson movie with Chadwick Boseman, where he repeatedly says the N-word. That is probably my favorite role of his.
Really?
Yeah, because one time
it's 42, right?
42. Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen that movie. I didn't really like it when I watched it, but
yeah, I didn't watch I did. I think I watched the whole thing. But that scene in particular was so weirdly, I don't know. It was like I never thought I'd see Alan Tudyk doing that.
Yeah,
kind of like Leonardo DiCaprio in Django. Like you never really thought you'd see him play a slave master and say the N-word a bunch of times.
Yeah,
it's just so strange how things like that will just happen.
Your love for Alan Tudyk will only go up by watching Firefly. He is the highlight of that show, and every actor on that show is amazing. So,
all right, well, that's gonna have to be on my watch list. I'll binge the series at some point, and we'll do a
podcast episode on Firefly.
Mm-hmm. There we go. So, yeah. There was another idea for a Star Wars film with just Wookiees.
Just Wookiees. I don't think that would go very well.
Yeah, it'd be kind of hard to.
Because Wookiees, I don't know if you know this, but they don't really speak English.
Yeah, that'd be pretty bad.
Here's some really deep Star Wars lore. There was a TV show about Ewoks.
Yeah, I know about that.
How do you? Okay.
Yeah. So
No
I
one
only
watched
know
it,
weird things about Star Wars. So
but
there was this YouTube channel called SourceFed,
uh
and one of the hosts on there, really funny guy, great a host, Steve Zaragoza, would make reference to that TV show, and that's how I found out about it.
okay. Yeah, I feel like if they made a movie about Wookiees, it would go down about the same way. Because
Yeah,
Wookiees are just Ewoks, but taller and more ferocious.
yeah, but I think this was Lucas was planning a Wookiee centric movie, not a show. Interestingly enough.
Can you imagine if Disney brought Lucas on to direct a Star Wars film?
Dude, honestly, I think that's their best bet of
I
turning
think
this
so
into
too.
something that could be anywhere close to Marvel.
Because
Just
Lucas
like,
was great at story building and world building. He wasn't so good on dialogue. But other
yeah,
than that, he made some really great Star Wars films. Everyone loves them. I mean, not everyone loves them. People hate the prequels for the most part. Some people hate the prequels. I love the prequels. I love every Star Wars film I've seen except for the last one, but that's a whole nother story.
yeah, well, hopefully Taika Waititi will take the franchise in a new direction. And
Yes.
yeah, I mean, I don't think the Star Wars films aren't necessarily known for their humor. So, I
Yeah,
think,
but there's some funny bits, even in the original trilogy.
yeah, but maybe a comedy-centered Star Wars movie might be the right way to take the
Yeah.
franchise moving forward.
That's the thing. Star Wars doesn't like have Marvel kind of humor, where
That's what
they're
I
not
mean. Yeah,
comedy movies, but they've got a lot of quips and everything. Star Wars didn't have that until kind of the Disney movies, but even still, wasn't as much humor.
they were definitely trying harder with the Disney movies. Wait, but hold on, we're actually putting some big disrespect out here because we're not even mentioning the comedic icon of the Star Wars series,
Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar
Big
Binks.
facts. The funniest character in the entire canon.
Yikes, dude.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I don't know
I
anything about Jar
remember
Jar.
right when Disney first bought over Star Wars, there was a theory on Reddit where Jar Jar was going to be the big bad of the entire sequel trilogy. And you read the title and you're like, that's completely idiotic. And then you read the article and you're like, that is totally plausible. And I want this to happen. And
So
it did.
hopefully, actually, if anybody would do it, it'd be Taika Waititi. So let's keep an eye out for Jar Jar Binks maybe making a reappearance in his film
A
because
whole Jar
that
Jar
would
Binks
be,
movie.
dude. I don't know about that, but I could definitely see Taika Waititi doing a comedic centric movie where the reveal of the villain at the end could be Jar Jar Binks. It
Yeah.
would be very for fanfare, a little fan service there, but it also could be just what Taika Waititi needs to really make his movie have a very unique mark.
Yeah, that would be very interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, next topic we've got is so there is an Avengers game coming out being produced by Square Enix that I believe has been pushed back due to the coronavirus.
Yeah, everything's being pushed back nowadays.
So that game has had a really rough start off, in my opinion. I think a lot of people are saying it, but just I think Marvel made a huge win, specifically Sony, with the PlayStation 4 Spider-Man game. Peter, have you
Mhm.
played that?
I played the demo at PAX West 2018, and it was really fun. I got to beat up on the Shocker.
Yeah, yeah. So that dude, that game is legit. I think it's the best game that has ever had a Marvel character or title attached to it. The
I,
story is incredible. The
I really
character
liked
designs are
Marvel Ultimate
amazing.
Alliance back in the day.
Yeah, I didn't really play that, but I mean, just from the experience I've had with Marvel Spider-Man, or Sony's PlayStation 4 Spider-Man video game, I think it's the best thing they've ever produced.
I would love to play it
Um,
through.
yeah, so they were riding high off of the steam for that, and then the Square Enix game is announced, which is the first time that an Avengers specific video game title has been developed in a long time.
Yeah.
Like they had technically Ultimate Alliance in a sense was an Avengers game, but the last time that an Avengers title was used on a game, I believe it was the Facebook game Avengers Alliance. Maybe there's some mobile games in there, but the Avengers haven't really been used for a straight up video game for a long time, since like the side scroller
Yeah,
beat 'em
SNES.
up games. Yeah. Like that's probably the last time that I think Avengers was used in a title. So it's really exciting to see them come back. I've been anticipating an Avengers game for a very long time, like since the first movie came out.
Hmm.
But this game has had a rough time getting started because, for the most part, the promotional material has just been the same trailer, the same gameplay demo over and over. They've shown a couple skins that don't look insanely unique or impressive, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
That's the
yeah, I
thing
mean,
with
it's
games nowadays is that they just sell so many skins. Like they just okay, we figure people are gonna pay $1.99 to get a new skin on Batman or something like that.
yeah, I mean, it's skins and microtransactions, loot boxes. Those are just the way to go nowadays, and it's I'm hoping that the industry of video games in general is going to be finding a way around that soon. Or, I mean, not that I don't particularly have an issue with it, if I can be honest. I mean, I think, find a way to monetize your game where it's free to play, or you don't have
Exactly.
to
Yeah.
keep buying DLCs. And apparently that is the plan with this Marvel game, is that there will be some kind of microtransaction or something, some sort of purchasable element that will be involved, but you won't have to pay for when they add new heroes and they add new maps and so forth, or new story stuff. I want to be optimistic about this thing.
Yeah, it's
But
looking good. I saw
yeah.
I saw a meme the other day of a side by side of Marvel's Avengers and Batman Arkham City or Arkham Knight or something like that. And the Avengers are asking Batman, like, what makes you any different than us? And Batman says, I'm not wearing hockey pads. Because it just looks like
Oh my
everyone
god.
in the Avengers game is wearing hockey pads. Like Captain America, his outfit is so weird. And
So that's actually, like, let's talk about the designs of these characters. So they got a lot of flack for two different things. They did not like Black Widow's facial design, and they did not like Cap's design.
yeah.
Now, just Black Widow's face particularly, I remember seeing memes saying that she looked like Lord Farquaad, which was pretty funny, but I also didn't think it was that bad that it deserved that level of criticism. And actually, I have a similar opinion with Captain America's costume. I think that the lower body design, and this is coming from someone who is I'm a graphic designer. I really, really enjoy character design. I spend a lot of time studying that and working on things like that. I draw a lot. I think his lower body design leaves something to be desired. Maybe the arms are extra hockey pad looking, but I actually really like it has like a very modern military look that is kind of
Yeah.
it's not super heroic. It doesn't have that like V-shaped chest build that the new Captain America costumes have, but it looks like he looks like an actual soldier. And I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's very true. Look, he looks a lot like a soldier. I like Iron Man. I saw him in the trailer.
Yeah.
He looks pretty neat.
Yeah, the Iron Man costume seems to be like definitely going back to its classic roots more, to a little bit more of a like chunkier, like boxy kind of Iron Man, which I think is kind of neat because it's chunky and boxy, but it's still plenty of aerodynamic, to it.
I did notice that they're having it set in San Francisco instead of New York. Avengers West Coast.
Yeah, and I think the reason for that is because the Spider-Man PS4 game is obviously in New York, and they're probably gonna try to do some sort of crossover with the Sony games, but they probably chose to locate it on the San Francisco coast so that they have that option open to crossover without making it, until Sony works out the details with
So
Disney.
it's a
'Cause that's all
shared universe then.
it hasn't been confirmed, but that's what I'm thinking behind the scenes, is that they're in talks about doing a shared universe. But yeah, I mean, there are references to the Avengers in the Spider-Man game and
Gotcha.
Doctor Strange, which Marvel has exclusive rights to. So it just makes you think. It's like, well, you know, maybe there's something going on behind the scenes there.
Yeah,
Maybe the Avengers will make their way back to New York at some point.
yeah. They've got a lot riding on it because there haven't been any for the Marvel Cinematic Universe or anything. They haven't really released any games for it.
No,
Superhero
no
movies
mainstream
in
video
the early
games.
2000s had games for them. Like you had Fantastic Four games. You had
Yeah,
Spider-Man 2 on the PS2.
and most of them sucked. But I mean, not. I think those were a lot better, the early 2000 ones.
I
But
really
like,
liked Spider-Man 2.
there was a Thor game that was really bad. There was an Iron Man 2 and both Iron Man's had games that I believe were not well received. I really enjoyed the Captain America Super Soldier game that came out with his film, and it looks like from the gameplay in this game of Captain America that they're actually using a lot of elements from it. It is very much like, you would probably like it because it's basically Batman Arkham series but with Captain America.
Gotcha.
Um, and it's I think it's pretty cool. But I'm looking forward to seeing we're gonna get out of this game. And I kind of want to talk about what we think they should be doing to get this game, get people excited for this. Like, what do they need to do to like reignite that fire that existed when this thing was first announced, that's been dying out from a combination of the coronavirus and then just, I think they're just running into general delays on the project or something, because they just haven't shown much else from the game.
I haven't seen a lot from the footage, but have they even like really announced a villain besides AIM, which I know about AIM? But
Yeah, AIM is going to be the main villain, which I think is implying that MODOK or the Scientist Supreme, one of those characters that are generally associated with AIM, will probably be the main villain.
MODOK, man, that's gonna be hard to do in any form.
I mean, there's a lot of really cool fan art out there for how MODOK could look in an MCU project that I think is pretty fantastic. Just it's very like, like a paralyzed dude in a hovering wheelchair that has a computer screen, kind of like, that makes the big head looking kind of design, and it like hovers around, it just projects his face on there instead of it literally being a giant head.
That sounds like Spy Kids 3D.
It does. It does. It sounds like is that Spy Kids or is that Shark Boy and Lava Girl?
It might have been.
Yeah, with George Lopez.
Yeah.
That is exactly what the concept art that fans have put together looks like, and I actually think it's pretty okay. It just can't look like that.
Yeah.
If it doesn't look like Shark Boy and Lava Girl, it'll be a win. But you know what? I mean, there are other characters that have been associated with AIM over the course of Marvel's, expansive continuity. So we'll have to see what happens. But I'm glad you brought that up, because that's actually one of my biggest issues with the game, is that the whole plot is like the Avengers get disassembled, and then we have to live in this world where these robots are patrolling, and I'm like, are you kidding me? I just really don't want another video game where you have to go and beat up robots. Like, exactly. It's such a repetitive thing. I was really excited for Overwatch 2 until they showed us that it was just gonna be a bunch of Omnics, and now it's like, which is their universe's like intelligent robot, iRobot, Terminator, just that same thing. I really am not looking forward to that unless they make it really diverse, but the character designs just don't seem to be anything that strikes me as, wow, look at that unique robot. Look, this is a big one. This one has a shield. This one's small. Like, this one turns invisible. Like, I would love to see some variety, but I just don't
have actual people to beat up, because I think that also makes for better story. Like, you don't really have the moral dilemma of beating up robots, but like when you have actual people that are the bad guys and whatnot, you can find some kind of moral dilemma for that.
Yeah, I agree. Especially because AIM isn't really, I mean, they're in the comics, they're not particularly well known for robotics exactly.
Yeah, they have those big yellow suits, right?
Right, yeah, they have like the big mechanical suits that are like Iron Man-ish, but then they also have like they're just kind of scientist dudes. Like they're more like, chemistry based than they are robotics. Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. I'm not really interested in a game where there's a lot of, four-legged giant robot things to shoot at for, 15 hours of gameplay. Like, that's going to get really boring to me unless they can find a way to make very, very unique characters that are interesting and challenging the fight. Because the thing that I'm looking forward to the most, outside of the new characters and really seeing how, what they put the Fantastic Four in here, like what will they function like?
Oh man,
how do you make Reed Richards like a fun character to play as? Like, I'm really excited to see that. But the biggest draw for me is if they can make co-op actually replayable, because they have this thing, you know, they have the missions that you play in the story, and then they have something called Warzone missions, which is when you can actually get in co-op and just kind of beat wave after wave. So
Yeah.
if they can make that good, I would love it.
The great thing about Ultimate Alliance was that there were so many bad guys and so many good villains in that. Like that's where I first heard of the Winter Soldier was from Ultimate Alliance, and the big bad being Doctor Doom was just so good. There were so many good bad guys. With the Avengers, I can't tell you one villain that's going to be in it. Like I would at least like to be.
Well,
To see them.
Taskmaster is in it.
Huh?
Taskmaster is in it, but that's very obviously because the Black Widow film was supposed to come out around the same time, and
Gotcha.
Taskmaster is a villain in the Black Widow film. So, but you know, yeah, no, there's no villains that have really been announced. We just have robots, and I think that is part of what is making the game feel a little bland. And that's sad. It's because it's like it looks like a gorgeous game. The gameplay looks pretty fun. You know, I would just tell them like, you know, if you know if anyone from Square Enix was listening, just make sure that you got some like great boss battles. And
Exactly.
yeah, I'm sure it's already in development, so you know, no point in getting any advice from me. But some great boss battles and some really diverse people to fight is going to make the difference, because as much as a skill tree to upgrade your characters is important, to me it doesn't make a difference if you don't have anything challenging to fight.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I always reference back to, now one of my favorite co-op games was Transformers War for Cybertron. And that came out in like 2010 or something. It might actually be even older than that. But I think that they had such a variety of different enemy types that it made it just infinitely replayable to me. Like I really enjoyed that game, maybe more than I actually logically should have. But you know, it's just, and it's just, if you can use creativity, then hopefully, you know, hopefully this game will be a hit. And hopefully they'll start revealing some more stuff about the game, because I think it was a very poor decision to make AIM the main villain.
I agree.
Just because, like, I know you want to save stuff, like you want to save your Doctor Dooms and your Kang the Conqueror, like you want to save that for like your expansion packs. I get that, but like I think you also have to come out the gate with something that's not only well known to the basic fans who are going to be buying this game, as well as the diehard fans, you know. But you know, you got to find a middle ground. And I think Hydra would have been a better choice, personally.
Probably.
Even though, yeah, I mean, even though they're doing the whole like, you know, the Avengers are defeated, and there's a other organization that could be good guys that's like claiming that territory, and I feel like doing that plot in the video games actually makes it so that you don't have room to do the Dark Avengers, because then that's the same story all over again.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, I think, you know, maybe some planning, some more story people behind it would have made it a lot better. But we don't know yet. You know, the game's
It might
still
be amazing.
Yeah, it could be amazing. I'm really hoping for the best. I'm probably gonna buy it regardless.
Yeah, I'll probably get it as well
Don't.
when it goes on sale on Steam.
Yeah, as long as they don't put it at like a ridiculously high price point. Like I know,
Right
like
now on Steam, I have it
$60.
open. It's $60.
Yeah. I mean, that's fine. I'll probably pay $60 for it. I'll wait for the reviews. I'll buy it. It's just I buy video games so seldomly that I will treat myself to this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna pre-order it. I'm probably never gonna buy skins. I hope there's a way to unlock skins just from playing without, you know, having to get whatever. But you know, I think they're gonna take a lot of notes from. They had another game, Marvel Heroes, that was really good. It had some amazing skill trees in there, but it was like an MMO.
Okay.
So it was a lot more like it was like Diablo.
Yeah, or League of Legends or something.
Yeah, more like Diablo than League. League was kind of like more PvP based.
Okay.
I would love if this thing had a PvP element to it. That would be fantastic. I'd love to get in there with my Thor, because they say that you're gonna be able to customize the characters and build them differently than
Yeah.
your friend's version. So it could be like, I could have a Thor that's like super hammer based, and you could have a Thor that's super flight based or has swords or something like the Ragnarok based, like more Thor, and I could have like a classic Thor. And I'd love it if they had a PvP thing where we could fight each other. But I'm sure they'll add that stuff. You know, I'm not, you know, I think that's like not the focus of the game at this exact time, but
Yeah, that'd
you
be
know,
very interesting.
we'll see what happens. So yeah, that's I just want to kind of talk about that. I feel like a lot of people are missing out on this game, and you know what? I'll tell you right now, if they had hired Mitchell Media to do the marketing for this game, then they would not have faltered as far as they are right now with all of the steam being gone.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't get that reference, I have a marketing agency called Mitchell Media, and I would have done better with this.
He owns
You
a
would have done
business.
better. Yeah. We I think you gotta keep the steam going. September 4th, 2020. That's a long way from now.
It is, but at the same time, that's what, 5 months?
Yeah, I mean, well, okay, yeah, we did really just most games
No,
when they
4
come out, you
months.
really do
We're
see
in
the
May.
same.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, right. When most games come out, I guess you do see the same things over and over for a while, but
Last of
hey,
Us
look,
is pushed to July, I believe. Last of Us Part 2 on the PS4.
Jeez. Well, hey, let's hope for the best, shall we? Let's hope that we'll hit July and we'll just start seeing a lot of really cool stuff for the game, and then it'll hit hard.
Yeah.
The Avengers are such a popular franchise. I don't see why people wouldn't buy it.
Especially riding off of Endgame coming off last year.
Yeah. And hopefully Black Widow will be coming out in November, I believe it got pushed back to.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So
it was supposed to be out by now, right?
it was definitely supposed to be out. I think it was supposed to be out in what? March?
Something like that.
Dude, we're in May. This is crazy. Quarantine
Where is time going?
Dude, they were supposed to announce quarantine's technically supposed to end on the 8th. So we'll know very soon if we're going to be inside for a lot longer or not.
Yeah, 2 more weeks of quarantine. If the groundhog sees its shadow.
Yeah, basically. Basically, right? Low key, dude. I could use some more quarantine. I wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not as hard right now as it was like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. And this is coming from this is like I'm about to start like a personal conversation, but I won't. But yeah, I would love to. It sounds
talk about
crazy.
that after the cameras stop rolling.
Yeah, we'll talk about that afterwards. But I hated quarantine for the first however long, but now I'm actually like, you know what? I could do a little bit longer. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Should we get into the puzzler for the week?
Heck yeah, we should.
All right.
So on our podcast, we're going to have a weekly puzzle that we give to you guys for you guys to throw into the comments and try to answer. Peter's going to explain it way better than me. I'm going to shut up.
I am indeed. I figure there's going to be some part of the podcast that people don't want to listen to. So I'm going to make that right now. We're going to have the
no. It's going to be cool.
We're going to have the puzzler, and each week we're going to have a puzzle. We're going to put it in the midpoint of the episode, and y'all are going to try to give me the answer, because I never make the answer for this. I just hope someone will give it to me, and then I'll pick one of the random answers. No, I have an answer. So if you guess correctly, we'll shout out and everything like that. Give you props for guessing the correct answer to the puzzler. And in the next episode, we'll give you the answer and a new puzzler. I'm really looking forward to it. So this one is with an old ice cream shop. You ever go to a soda shop, Rob?
I have not been to a proper soda shop.
Me neither. Not really. I don't know why they call it soda shops. But this one is an old soda shop. So Rob walks in one day to a soda shop. The first time he's ever been there.
Ever.
And he sits down at the bar. And there's a few other people in front of him. So he just casually observes. And there's a sign on the wall. And it says, the bartender will tell you a number. If you say the correct number in response, you get a free ice cream. 2 scoops. What scoops do you like?
Let me get a black cherry and some of that chocolate chip cookie dough. But I'm going to need black cherry on top of the chocolate chip cookie dough.
Yikes.
Not the other way around.
That's an interesting combination. So you can get whatever you like. 2 scoops or less. So you're observing the first guy, the bartender comes up to him and he says the number 6. And the guy says, 3. And he gets free ice cream. So you're sitting there and you're observing. He comes up to the second guy and he says 12. So the guy says 6, and he gets a free ice cream. So you're starting to get it. You're going with the flow.
Yeah.
He comes up to the next guy
3,
and he says 14, and the third guy says 8, and he gets a free ice cream. So now you're sweating. You're panicking. You have no idea what's going on.
I need that ice cream. It's hot outside.
The bartender comes up to you and he says 21. What do you say? And if you think you know the answer, you can get in contact with us or put it in the comments, whatever you want to do. And we'll call out the right answer next week. I'll tell you what the right answer is. I'll give that back real quick. 6 is to 3, 12 is to 6, 14 is to 8, 21 is to what?
Dude, I'm so glad that you like doing this because my mind does not work for this kind of stuff. I am pretty literal. But you know what? I'm excited to see what people are gonna.
Maybe in the future, I'll tell you the answer before we record.
Maybe, because I'm gonna be thinking about this and I'm not gonna feel very smart after I realize how easy it is. Peter and I one time we were on a road trip. And we were doing these riddles that drove me up the wall. Or what is it? What were they called? They weren't riddles.
Yeah, riddles, word puzzles. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Green Glass Door, for example, which is the classic one everyone knows except Rob.
What did you say? The umbrella?
The Green Glass Door, but there's also the umbrella.
Yeah, no, I didn't know any of that. That's not. Yeah, I just never did that before. It was excruciating. It was excruciating. But I did figure out. I figured out the one with the cows on the moon. What was that called?
The cows on the moon.
Oh no, it was like cows.
Oh, yeah. Cows in different places. Elephants, I believe it was.
Elephants, yes. I figured that out.
Here, yeah.
I felt like a genius.
It's so satisfying when you get it before they explain.
It was satisfying to get it before the other people in the car. Honestly. I was just glad that I got it before Caleb and David did. That made me happy.
Did you hear Tom Cruise apparently is going to be trying to film an action film, a narrative action film in space?
Like The Martian, but actually in space?
Actually in space, yeah.
In space.
For The Martian, Matt Damon did not go to Mars for that. He actually filmed it on the moon.
No way.
Yeah. But Tom Cruise wants to film the first narrative film in space, and he's working with SpaceX for it.
Hold on. I need to rewind. You were joking, right?
Yeah, that was a joke. They didn't actually.
Okay. I just need to make sure. I was like 90% sure that they didn't. I'm pretty sure they filmed that in Arkansas or somewhere, wherever there's just a lot of
on the earth.
empty land.
Some of these space films really make it look like they're actually.
They do.
Like Gravity.
I didn't watch Gravity because I felt like that would trip me out too much because The Martian was too much. Like, not too much for me, but like I only have 2 phobias. Like, and that's I don't want to be underwater. I don't want to be scuba diving. I don't like that at all. And I don't like space stuff.
I love space. I might have told you this before.
Don't put me on a rocket ship. Don't put me on a submarine.
But if NASA came, knocked on my door right now while we're recording, we're rolling. We're trying to make a podcast. NASA came, knocked on my door, and said, "Hey, Peter, we want you to go to space. We want you to go to Mars, one-way trip. But you got to get in the car right now.
One-way trip.
You cannot say goodbye to anyone. I'd already be in the car. I'd already be going.
One-way trip, bro?
One-way trip, man.
All right, man. Well, hey, we know who's surviving after the nuclear Holocaust. Wait, say again?
We'll probably have Wi-Fi. I can get in contact.
Oh.
I mean, I'm already quarantined, so it's either be quarantined here or be quarantined up in space.
I would rather be quarantined here. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I'm not going to space, man. I'm not going to space.
I would absolutely jump for joy at the opportunity because we like being weightless. Oh, so cool.
And there's probably a lot of really cool shots that camera ops will be able to get once they get out into zero gravity. I think that's probably the most
Yeah.
exciting thing about that idea. You said it's SpaceX that's funding it or involved with it, right? So Elon Musk and all those boys.
It's SpaceX and NASA is what I heard. From the movie or the article headline and skimming through the article, Elon Musk specifically is trying to work with NASA through SpaceX, and Tom Cruise also is working with them. I'm because Tom Cruise, man, he does a lot of crazy stuff.
Yeah, he does.
He like in
This would be the piece of resistance.
it would be the cherry on top, because like for movies he does crazy stuff like the last Mission Impossible movie. They filmed an entire scene, no cuts, while skydiving.
That's insane. Hey, man, NASA's got to make their money somehow with all their defense or their budget cuts.
Yeah, that's true. Like Tom Cruise is insane, and then in real life he is also insane. But I don't know if you want to go into that.
You want to talk Scientology?
Scientology, man, what a wholesome group of people.
Seriously, I mean, I've never met more pleasant people than Scientologists. But you know what? Dude, I don't know anything about Scientology. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Yeah, man. I mean, hey, listen, Tom Cruise has done a lot of Mission Impossibles. He has heisted a lot of things. Let's see if he can heist something in space, man. Let's see if he can steal a star or something. I would love to see that.
Steal a star. We are going to shrink the moon.
There you go. Despicable Me. Let's have him do that whole thing. Yeah, I mean, I wonder. I can't help but wonder if it would be involved with a Mission Impossible franchise, but I think chances are it will not. Tom Cruise, he is like, I mean, he's directed a good couple of films, hasn't he?
I'm not sure. Has Tom Cruise directed anything?
Let's look it up.
In recent years, he's been in The Mummy. He's been in Mission Impossible Fallout.
He was in now I think he did this film where he was like smuggling cocaine for like the CIA or something. I can't remember what it was called. American Made, I believe, was what it was called. I think he directed that, and I was really excited for that film, and it was not very good. So I was pretty disappointed, but I could be wrong. I'm looking it up right now. You know what Tom Cruise's actual last name is?
I feel like I've heard this, but I don't know.
Mapother.
I have not heard that.
He is Thomas Cruise Mapother the fourth.
The fourth.
Yeah, like me.
Yeah, you're the fourth. I'm the first. So.
Hey, when's Junior coming, bro?
When is I could never name a kid after myself. Maybe
really?
Middle name, but even still, like that's still kind of cocky.
Hey, well, I'm generationally cocky.
Yeah.
Got to keep it going. So let's see. So Tom Cruise was a producer on Mission Impossible. He was a producer on Without Limits. He was a producer on Mission Impossible 2, an executive producer on The Others, a producer on Vanilla Sky, executive producer on Narc, executive producer on Shattered Glass, producer on The Last Samurai, and producer on Elizabethtown, producer on Ask the Dust, and a producer on Mission Impossible 3. He's basically been a producer on every Mission Impossible film, Jack Reacher, Rock of Ages, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, so every Mission Impossible film. Surprisingly, he was not a producer on Edge of Tomorrow, which actually was my guess. I was very much expecting that to be his a film that he produced on, but apparently no, he doesn't direct, and he was not involved with American Made. So yeah, I was wrong about that. But
Interesting.
Yeah, he has not directed any films. He directed an episode of Fallen Angels.
Oh, Fallen Angels. How could I forget Fallen?
I've never heard of that before. Yeah, I mean, hey, look, man, I think this could be a really interesting thing. I think
I will definitely see this movie if it happens.
Yeah,
because
if anyone would be the
ever movie shot in space.
Right. And if anyone would be in that film, it would be Tom Cruise.
It would absolutely
It's
be.
only fitting.
He's in his like
Or Nicolas Cage.
50s now.
Yeah, he's like 57 or something.
Oh man, and he's known for his running. So how is he gonna get that running scene in space?
Slowly. Hey,
Man, can you imagine shooting a film in zero gravity? Not zero gravity, obviously, but zero gravity for the purposes of this conversation.
No, I could. I mean, to a certain extent, it seems like it'd be pretty cool because as a filmographer, I would love the opportunity to be able to just jump in the air and kind of hover and grab some pretty amazing shots.
Exactly.
Because I mean, like you wouldn't need cranes.
Exactly.
There's so many things you wouldn't need to film. I think that's the most like exciting thing about this potential movie is that the filmographers and the directors, they're gonna go nuts with it. And I would honestly, that would be the one reason why you could maybe get me into space would be if you told me that I could
film a
be
movie.
Yeah, if I could film.
Do you think they're going, because they're probably going to have a spaceship of some kind. Do you think they're going to have the camera stay in the spaceship the entire time? Or are they going to take a camera and put it in the depths of cold space and film something out there?
I think they're going to do that. I don't know how that works, like, as far as astrophysics or anything go, but I think that's what they're going to do. Isn't that how they filmed the moon landing? Wasn't that from outside of the ship?
Oh, well, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I have no idea. But here's my theory, all right? So I think they're going to go out there. They're going to film this movie. And then on the way back, the film crew is going to get caught in a space storm of some sort. And then they'll come back with superpowers. And
that's how we're going to get the Fantastic Four.
For the Fantastic Four.
Can you imagine if when Marvel Cinematic Universe chooses Fantastic Four, it's about the filming of this Tom Cruise movie? And Tom Cruise can play Mr. Fantastic.
Oh, God. Oh, God, no. Oh, God, no. Yo, next week we should talk about fan casting the Fantastic Four. I would love to talk about that because I have some very strong opinions about who I would like to see in that film.
We should.
Yeah. So yeah, we got another topic coming up. Disney Plus, Marvel stuff that is like super delayed at this point because of the coronavirus. They haven't given out any official dates for delays, to my knowledge.
One trailer for all that stuff, all the Marvel Disney Plus stuff.
Yeah, but we've got a decent amount of juicy behind the scene photos, which I have been just loving up. So what Peter and I did was that we actually ranked. So if you guys don't know what it is, Disney Plus streaming platform, obviously. Marvel has TV series, which are going to be, I think, 8 episode runs, very short.
I didn't hear that.
And I think it's somewhere between 8 and 13 episodes. But they're going to be highly produced, so they're going to be the same quality as the Marvel films, but on their streaming platform, and they'll be connected into the universe, unlike the previous Marvel continuity, which I thought was really dumb and weird, which was that all of the Netflix shows, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Daredevil, Iron Fist, The Defenders, even Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. were considered continuitous at one point, and now they're no longer considered continuitous. I think that's annoying because Marvel is so powerful that they can do something that stupid, like invest all that money and some great actors and waste all of that.
Exactly.
But I also think it's a really great move because there was some stuff in those movies and TV shows that I would have rather seen in a film, or that I think some actors could deserve a second chance. And
like, I would love a Cloak and Dagger film.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Cloak and Dagger guy.
I am, because I'm a big Spider-Man guy, and Spider-Man and Cloak and Dagger go hand in hand.
Yeah, they're buddies. So I think a Cloak and Dagger movie could be pretty neat. I think Marvel now realizes that they can take chances on just about everything, and
exactly. That's why we're getting the Shang Lee movie.
Are we really? Is there an official Stan Lee movie?
Not Stan Lee, like the Mandarin movie that's coming out, Shang-Li or something like that.
Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi.
I feel bad. I'm gonna cut that part out. So you keep that from the podcast. Yeah. But like you said, we're gonna get basically everything.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. But basically, the current announced slate for Marvel films, I had it written down. Okay, here it is. I mean, not Marvel films, but the Marvel Disney Plus series. We have WandaVision, which is a show focusing on the Scarlet Witch and Vision. Loki, Loki's show, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, a Hawkeye focused series, Ms. Marvel, What If, which is inspired from the Marvel What If comic run, which is basically just like, hey, what if Doctor Doom was a black guy in Harlem? Like it's not that crazy, but it's just like
There were
they
some
just
crazy
take
comics
things.
that I read from What If.
Yeah, it's like I think there's like the what if like Captain America was never unfrozen from the ice, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's really cool stuff. That's actually gonna be an animated series on Disney Plus, which I'm very excited about because the animation looks gorgeous. But anyway, we've got a She-Hulk series and then Moon Knight. So what Peter and I did was that we actually ranked what shows we are least to most excited about, and we're going to talk about it right now. So that's 8 shows in total. We're going to run through them from bottom to top,
From bottom to top.
and kind of talk about, yeah, talk about what we're excited about, what we're not excited about, and why.
All right. Well, would you like to start with your least favorite?
I would like us both to say it at the same time because I think that we both have the same show that we're the least excited for.
All right, let's count that down then.
All right,
3,
3,
2,
2,
1.
1.
Miss
Moon
Marvel.
Knight.
Oh,
Oh, okay. All right, all right. So I'm really interested to talk
I'm
about this. So
sitting up now. Let's go.
so my number 7 is Ms. Marvel. What's your number 7?
Moon Knight.
So, dude, honestly, I couldn't pick between the two.
I
So
thought you
let's
were
just talk
excited for
about.
Moon Knight.
Not really, dude. I mean, see, so Moon Knight, for our viewers, anyone who's not familiar, Moon Knight is basically, he's this Egyptian mercenary who falls into like a tomb or something somewhere and gets the clairvoyant powers of Egyptian spirits, and he's like has multiple personality disorder, but he's very Batman-ish, um, which is kind of off-putting because he's kind of just like white Batman, Moon Knight, Dark Knight. Like I don't know. I'm just not. I've never been a fan of Moon Knight. I don't care. Um, I think Marvel's doing it because he is a famously Egyptian character, and it would give them nice diversity brownie points to have an Egyptian lead character.
Yeah, I suppose. I thought Moon Knight could be a very interesting experience because he's a lot more vigilante than like any other Marvel character. Like he's very similar to Spider-Man, and I know they do a lot of crossover stuff. But like as I understand, Moon Knight isn't very well liked in the like in universe. He like
You mean like by other characters they don't
other
particularly care
characters,
for him?
yeah.
Yeah, that is
It's like the
true. I think
Punisher.
there's a lot of stuff about. Yeah, Punisher definitely doesn't care for him. Wait, hold on. Did you mean the Punisher is not well liked, or that?
The Punisher isn't well liked, yeah.
Yeah, no, he's not. But yeah, no, I think that's really interesting. I mean, it would be. I don't get how he would fit in that well. It's just characters like him. I don't know. I'm just not excited for it. I just don't really care.
Yeah. And we haven't
Um,
really seen anything about Moon Knight at the show coming. So
No, yeah, basically there's no information really about Ms. Marvel, Moon Knight, Hawkeye, or She-Hulk. Those are kind of coming a little bit later. The ones that are coming up sooner are Loki, WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and What If.
mhm.
So, they have plenty of time to get me excited for Moon Knight. But basically to me, Moon Knight is just less good Daredevil. So, I'd rather just see. I don't know. I like Daredevil a lot. I think the Netflix show is one of the best things that Marvel ever made. And yeah, I don't know. I don't care about Moon Knight.
Now, why are you excited for Miss Marvel?
Now, I'm
More
slightly
so.
more excited for Ms. Marvel than Moon Knight simply because they're pushing her character so hard right now. Like everybody likes this new Ms. Marvel. For our viewers, so in the comics, Ms. Marvel was actually the original identity of Carol Danvers, who later becomes Captain Marvel. And then the moniker is then picked up by a younger character, Kamala Khan. She's a Middle Eastern, I forget where she's exactly from, but a Middle Eastern girl from New Jersey. And she gets the abilities to stretch and morph her body, so she can kind of change sizes like Ant-Man, but she can also stretch like Mr. Fantastic. I think her powers are very underwhelming, and I don't understand why she's called Ms. Marvel at all. I mean, I think maybe she's an Inhuman, and she has something to do with the Kree, which would connect to Captain Marvel's and Carol Danvers' original origin. But yeah, I'm a little bit more interested because I want to see if they're going to make her a mutant. Honestly, that's like, I want to know if she's going to be a mutant or if she's going to be an Inhuman.
Yeah.
You know, we know that the X-Men and the mutants are on their way to the MCU, and that's the only reason why I'm slightly more excited.
Yeah, I'm just not excited because before I watched the Avengers video game trailer, I really didn't know anything about Miss Marvel.
Nobody did.
Yeah, so, and like, it's not a very creative name because it's Marvel Comics, Marvel Studios, and then Captain Marvel as well. It's like, yeah, I just not excited about it. Maybe when stuff comes out for it, I'll be excited, but yeah.
Yeah, I think that the name issue is an actual real issue. I do completely agree. Like, that's why, I mean, I get why they made Carol Danvers Captain Marvel instead of Ms. Marvel, because it'd be kind of weird. Like, I know, like, when people were talking about way back when her having a live action film was just rumors, I thought that the weird thing would be, I mean, Ms. Marvel, that would sound like a whole movie about a beauty pageant. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't, like, that's what it sounds like to me. But also Captain Marvel sounds a little cheesy. And it turned out the movie wasn't that good. Yeah, right.
Hot take.
Controversial take. Don't tell the feminists, dude. But anyway, so let's see what we have at number 6. You want to start yours off?
For number 6, I had Hawkeye.
I have Hawkeye too.
Hey, look at that.
Yeah.
We should have said how many we think we have in common.
Dude, we definitely. Oh, you did say that before we started recording. We should have done that. Let's talk about Hawkeye, and then let's say how many more we think we have in common.
Hawkeye, I'm actually pretty excited for because, like, he's one of the OG Avengers, the only OG Avenger to get a show.
That is true.
And I've also heard it's going to focus a lot on his daughter. I'm actually pretty excited for it, but at the same time, like, there's other shows that are just so much more interesting. Hawkeye is the least interesting out of the original Avengers, maybe.
I could agree with that.
Maybe because there's also Black Widow, but at least Black Widow's getting her own movie.
Yeah. So Hawkeye, I'm actually very curious about this film, but I'm not particularly excited. And so actually, I think I know there was a rumor at one point that the show's gonna be about his involved with his daughter, but I actually think that's not the case.
Oh, okay.
I believe that it's actually focused on, from what I heard, Kate Bishop, who is I forget what her name is. I think she's just a new Hawkeye or something. I think she might have her own title in the comics, but she's basically like, she's basically just like, you know, Green Arrow has Speedy.
No.
Or Red Arrow. Well, yeah, I mean, she's just his sidekick. She also has a bow and arrow. She does the same thing as him. I believe the show is about training her to be his replacement or something like that. I think that there's a lot of interesting directions the show could go in and a lot of really cool things that could happen, but I just don't know if it will happen.
Yeah.
Some of those things being, while I am not particularly enthralled with the Kate Bishop character, I do like the idea of introducing a younger arrow shooting character to maybe refresh that whole gimmick, because I think they did honestly a piss poor job at making Hawkeye exciting in the movies, because he barely had any cool arrows. Like, he just didn't do a lot of cool stuff. And
I really like Hawkeye in the Avengers. He's all right. He's a bad guy for half the film, so
right.
I really like him in Civil War.
The comic books where he was originally a villain.
Yeah, I really like him in Civil War though, because
that's his best movie.
Yeah, him working with Wanda right when he first gets into the movie, and then him working with Ant-Man. Oh,
That was absolute amazing comic reference right there, where he
It
shoots him out of the.
was.
But to me, that's what I want to see more of Hawkeye. So that's a little thing that I'm kind of excited about, is maybe we'll get some more Hawkeye with some actually cool trick arrows, because he did not do a lot of cool stuff in the movies. I think that was a major missed opportunity.
I liked
So
him in Endgame a lot too.
yeah, he was okay in Endgame. He didn't really do much, but it was okay.
Yeah, but he did. I mean, the
I-
movie opens with him, so
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, he did more than he did in Infinity War, which was
well, yeah,
not show
he wasn't in it.
up. I don't know. I mean, I just wanted to see some really cool new stuff with Hawkeye, and maybe the show will have it. The new Hawkeye comics, which I hear are very, very good, might take some inspiration from that. I think that could be neat. I actually think it would be more interesting to see some of Hawkeye's experiences in Shield, some flashback stuff. I think it'd be great if Scarlett Johansson wanted to make an appearance on the show. There's a lot of different things that could happen that could be pretty neat.
I really want to see Hawkeye coming to term with all the bad things he did in Endgame.
No, that's even more interesting. Yeah.
Before Black Widow found him, he was like going around killing a bunch of people and everything like that, slicing up mofos.
Yeah.
And I want to see him like come to terms with that, especially raising his family again that he has back.
Yeah, dude. That's why you don't make super rational decisions when someone dies. You don't go out and you don't get your hair cut in a weird mohawk. You don't get weird tattoos. And most importantly, you don't go around killing people.
Yeah. Don't get that katana.
Yep. Don't buy it. Just keep it in the Amazon shopping cart for later.
Exactly. Wait till it goes on sale.
Exactly.
What do you have in your number 5 spot?
What do I have? I know we are definitely not going to have the same number 5. I actually think
think
you're
so?
gonna. I think you're gonna be a little upset with me for my number 5, because I think my number 5 is your number 1. So
Oh no.
I would like to hear your number 5 first.
My
And
number
then I'll
5,
say mine.
and this is where I start getting really excited for these shows.
Yeah, I think 5 and up is like my real excitement. Yeah.
She-Hulk.
Oh, okay. See, my 5 is Loki.
Yikes, dude.
So here's my thing with. Or why don't you talk about She-Hulk real quick then? Because I've got She-Hulk as my number 4.
She-Hulk, man. I before they announced this, I was really asking for a She-Hulk movie or whatnot, because we didn't get a really good Incredible Hulk movie. The
Yeah.
closest thing we got to a really good Incredible Hulk movie is Thor Ragnarok.
Absolutely.
And I figure it's too late to make an Incredible Hulk movie at this point. We're going on
This is a dang shame.
12 years past the Incredible Hulk coming out.
I would love a Gamma World movie, but go ahead.
I think it's time to do a soft reboot of the Incredible Hulk franchise in the She-Hulk. And I think this show is going to do that so well.
I 110% agree.
We need Incredible Hulk things in this, because like he is one of the original Avengers. And I know Black Widow didn't get anything until now.
Right.
Yeah, we need some kind of Hulk representation in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, I completely agree. And also, I think She-Hulk Jennifer Walters is just way more of a dynamic character than Bruce Banner can be. I mean, not completely, but it's easier to make a movie. And I say that because even though her personality slightly changes when she transforms from Jennifer Walters to She-Hulk, there is a lot more personality and development and confliction that can happen as She-Hulk. And you can have her in action, and you can have her regretting her actions or pondering, and there's a lot more range of development than what you could do with the Incredible Hulk in a movie, where he kind of needs other characters to play off of.
If this comes out at the same time as like a Fantastic Four thing comes out,
yes,
then we can possibly have her join the Fantastic Four, because that's what she does in the comics.
That would be incredible, dude. She-Hulk is one of my favorite characters that joins the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, She-Hulk is the cousin of Bruce Banner's, of Bruce Banner, the original Incredible Hulk. And the way that she gets her powers is that she is injured in some sort of accident. I believe sometimes it's a car accident, sometimes it's a super villain attack. I think that would be the way to go for this series, to introduce the villain.
I think I would
And
prefer a car accident.
no, I mean, I think it'd be cool. It could be cool because, she could be just hanging out with Bruce, and then you kind of introduce the antagonist that way in a similar way to what they did with the boys,
True.
of
I
someone
didn't see
just
The
being a
Boys.
civilian casualty. I don't know if you would like it very much, but it's
I
something
saw
I
a
would
clip and it was
recommend.
pretty good.
Yeah, it's a very, very good show. But it's very much like it's it takes the superhero genre and it puts it in a very pessimistic light.
Hmm.
Um, so anyway, I think that could be a way to go with introducing her, where she's kind of just like a civilian casualty that then gets a blood transfusion from her cousin, turning her into a Hulk. Now, my big reason why I'm excited for that more than Loki is because I'm a huge fan of the Hulk and the Hulk storylines in the comics. The Intelligentsia, Gamma World, which was something that was original for the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes cartoon, the Red Hulk. There's so many Hulk villains that just have not made anywhere close to an appearance. Bi Beast, Bi Beast, the Absorbing Man,
Oh
Zax.
man, the
Like, there's
absorbing
so many
man.
villains. Yeah, there's just so many. Even the Wrecking Crew. I think if they don't end up in Thor: Love and Thunder, they could end up in here, because in some continuities they're actually gamma powered. There's the UFOs. There's just so many villains that are still unused that I think are really cool, and can come from that same origin point as the Hulk. And I would really like to see them show up. So for that reason, She-Hulk is above Loki for me.
So why do you have Loki in number 5? Because you're
So
right, I am mad.
I knew you would be. So here's my thing with Loki. I like Loki. But I have had a lot of Loki. I don't really need more Loki. And I don't really need Loki time traveling, but I am excited for it because there's the opportunity to introduce characters like Kang the Conqueror,
The
and
Enchantress.
Owen Wilson. Yeah, there's like rumors that the Enchantress might be in there. I think that the Enchantress will probably be in Thor: Love and Thunder because she's known to play tricks on people and make them fall in love with each other. So that kind of just makes sense for her to be in that film. But I would love to see, like Kang the Conqueror. I'm very curious and interested about Owen Wilson's character. I'm a huge fan of Owen Wilson. He is in some of my favorite films of all time, The Royal Tenenbaums. Even a guilty pleasure film like Pixar's Cars, which I loved as a kid. I think he's got Me, You, and Dupree, Sergeant Drillbit Taylor. Those are not like favorites of all time, but I really enjoy those films. I like Owen Wilson. I like him a lot. I would like to see him and Tom Hiddleston, but I've had a lot of Loki, and I would like to see more of characters that haven't been explored to the depth that he has in the movies. So, you know, definitely down for it. Going to watch it. I hear it's going to be a lot like the Umbrella Academy. But yeah, dude, it's whatever. It's more Loki.
Yeah, I'm
Cool.
really excited for it. But I'll get to that when I get to wherever Loki is on my scale.
Yeah. So what did you have as number 4?
Number 4, I had WandaVision.
Okay, sure. Run me through. What are you excited about? Why is it number 4?
WandaVision, I'm really excited for because I just love the way it was portrayed in the like 30-second Super Bowl ad that we got,
I agree.
where
Yeah.
it only came up for like 2 seconds, but it looked amazing. It looks like it's going to be a fun like spoof on sitcoms, but at the same time like an action adventure. Maybe it has to deal with Wanda and grieving over the loss of Vision. Maybe it has to do with Vision somehow coming back into the universe. It's just going to be so interesting.
Yeah, dude. I have WandaVision as my number 3 actually.
Gotcha.
And that's because of everything that you said. It looks very surreal and weird and genre breaking, which I think is the most important thing because everything else that we mentioned before is like something that's easy, superhero, whatever. I'm a huge fan of the House of M storyline from the comics, and I'm curious to see if I don't think it will happen in this show because I think they're going to wait for the X-Men to come in now, but it's perfect build up for a House of M storyline, as well as the fact that this is going to lead directly into Multiverse of Madness with Doctor Strange, which she's going to be a pretty
True,
big
yeah.
character in. And I'm really excited to see all of that, as well as I think the Vision and Scarlet Witch, they're some of my favorite characters in the comics. I really enjoy those two characters in the classic 616. And I think that they could use a lot more development in the movies. I think that Scarlet Witch, I would like to know a lot more about what her personality is like and who she is as a character.
I feel like we explored a lot of that in Civil War, but we don't really know much about Vision yet.
Yeah,
It was good what we saw in Infinity War, but it's just I would have loved to see more. But there's so much packed in Infinity War, you couldn't really fit much.
Right. To me, the Scarlet Witch has been, even though she's appeared a lot, I still don't really, they haven't like done a great job at showing us like her personality traits or anything like that. I really wanted like, I want to know who Wanda is, you know? It's like, okay, Age of Ultron, she hates Tony Stark, you know, her brother is her best friend, and then her brother died and she was upset. Okay, cool. Civil War, she accidentally killed some people and she was upset, so she's very, you know, she's not like an innocent character because she tried to kill the Avengers, but she also has turned to good, and I kind of understand that, but I would like to learn more about her. So I'm really looking forward to that, you know.
So what do you have in your number 4?
My number 4 was She-Hulk. Yeah. So we
Okay.
talked about that. So now we need your number 3.
My number 3
There's
is
only a couple shows left, so
my number 3 is
Can
What
I guess? I knew you were gonna say that. Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to What If, man. I think that could be really fun. I think they could have some really funny moments, but then some also really cool concepts. Because the way they're doing that show, it's going to be like a cartoon, but like really well animated.
Have you heard what the confirmed What If stories are?
The only confirmed one I've heard of is Peggy Carter becoming Captain America.
Yes, so she becomes some type of Captain Britain character, which I think is
Still functioning in America though.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. I think that's really weird because it's like, I mean, why would the super soldier serum go to her, a British person that was developed by the United States government? There's a lot of.
Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think there was a comic line about Captain America being Peggy Carter. I think it was called Peggy Carter Captain America. And
I've never heard of that.
As I heard for that, Steve was still supposed to get this serum, but he died along the way to get it or something like that.
Oh, okay.
He got assassinated or something. So in memory of him and everything that he stood for, because he was still Captain America before he had the serum, she takes it and she becomes Captain America.
See, I don't think this is going to be that at all. Because Steve Rogers is actually going to be in the series, or in the episode, because one episode is going to be the whole What If. I think it leaves a lot of awesome opportunity, the whole series, for Marvel to do some Black Mirror type stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I think is really neat.
What if the other half of the universe got snapped out of existence?
Right. See, now that would be a great season finale for that. That's honestly, I'd be surprised if Marvel hasn't already thought of that. They're holding out on it so that we don't, see it coming. But the one thing I think is strange about the whole Peggy Carter as Captain America is that in this universe, Steve Rogers becomes Iron Man in World War II.
Really?
Kind of. Yeah, it's very odd and it feels very fan servicey. So I'm not really into that. But I mean, it looks really cool, but I just don't get it. So that one I thought was an obvious choice, and it looks like it has a lot of fan service. So it looks like whatever to me, but the animation is just gorgeous.
When I was a kid, my dad had at least one What If comic, but I don't remember. There might have been more. But there was one of them that had just a bunch of different little scenarios, like 1-panel or 3-panel scenarios. And there was a 1-panel scenario where it was, what if Black Widow married Spider-Man? And it just had a picture of Black Widow like wiping her mouth and burping because she had eaten Spider-Man, because that's what Black Widows do.
That's funny.
It was very funny.
I like that a lot. I think that would be really cool if they did like very small, like Hanna-Barbera style, like shorts in between the What Ifs.
Exactly.
Like those. Yeah, that would be amazing. The other confirmed What If story or episode is something that has to do with Marvel Zombies. There's a small clip where Bucky Barnes is looking over his shoulder in some sort of subway car, and it's like a zombified Steve Rogers.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so that's whatever. Marvel Zombies is whatever. I don't really care about
Yeah,
it.
I'm not really into zombies.
Yeah, I'll watch it though. It seems cool. And then this is what I think is the most stupid, and it seems like an absolute waste of time to do this story, but hopefully it's so insanely creative that they prove me wrong, and that's probably what it's going to be. But the other one that they've confirmed is, what if T'Challa was Star-Lord?
I think I heard about that. Yeah.
I don't get that, but I'm sure they
Maybe
found some way to make that funny.
like his mom was dying or something.
Yeah, or like
spaceship comes and picks him up.
Yeah, basically. And to me, that's kind of silly. But I would honestly rather see Peter Quill as the King of Wakanda.
I hope that does happen.
So it looks like maybe there'll be a nice mix of like comedy and stuff in there. So you already said your idea, which was the other half getting snapped out for a What If episode. I actually think it would be really cool if there was a What If episode for dang, oh my god, I literally just forgot, but I was thinking about this earlier today. A What If episode. What if Captain America, Steve Rogers, and Bucky Barnes had switched places? So what if they what if like there's different ways you could do this. Like what if Steve was a normal guy and Bucky was a skinny guy?
Yeah.
And then Steve,
I feel like
becomes the Winter Soldier.
With the Peggy Carter Captain America, though.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. And, I'm like a huge Captain America fan, so obviously my idea would be Captain America. But I
hope they have some kind of Spider-Man thing.
Oh, I'm sure there's got to be something Spider-Man. You can't miss out on Spidey. But, yeah, I mean, that was just like a little thing. It's not really, honestly, I don't think it's a brilliant idea or anything, mine. But, it's something I had thought about and I saw some fan art about. So I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. Steve becomes Winter Soldier and Bucky becomes Captain America.
Okay.
So
What If? I'm really excited for that. Did you say what your number 3 is?
My number 3 was WandaVision.
WandaVision.
So now we've only got 2 left, which means I know what your number 1 is.
I don't think you do.
I do. I promise you I know what your number 1 is.
Okay. So what's your number 2?
We'll save that. I mean, my number 2 is Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Okay.
And that is because the Winter Soldier is my favorite Marvel movie, I think, ever. It barely beats out the first Iron Man. Just by a little bit.
Winter Soldier is not the best Captain America movie even.
I would say that it is. I would, but we don't have to go ahead.
We'll talk about that later, but it's a great movie, but it doesn't beat out Civil War. I
think that it does. And I can go into plenty of depth as to why I think it does, but so I think The Winter Soldier is it's my favorite Captain America film. It's also my favorite film in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, period. And dude, I love Sam Wilson. I love Bucky Barnes. I think they're both just such fun characters. I think that there's a lot of Zemo. I thought he was pretty okay in the movies, but I'm a huge fan of him in the comics. And the fact that he's got the purple mask, we're about to see like a real Baron Zemo. I'm really excited about that. And in addition to that, they have the U.S. agent. There's rumors of Battlestar being in the series. There's so many odd Captain America characters that I've been infatuated with for years that we're finally going to see in the MCU's context. And I'm really excited about that. Like, we could end up seeing Isaiah Bradley. We could see, oh my gosh, I always get their names mixed up, but it's like Isaiah Bradley and then his grandson who's Patriot, or it might be the other way around. There's just so much in the Captain America lore that can still be explored, even without Steve Rogers, which is actually when, in the comics, the story gets the most interesting is when Captain America is not Steve Rogers. And yeah, I'm super excited. I can't wait to see what this show has in store, and the tone and the action, I'm sure, will be incredible.
There's a great comic panel of Spider-Man hanging from Falcon Captain America, and he's like, "Hey, can I throw the shield?" And Falcon's like, "Nah," and Spidey's like, "Cap let me throw it before, or Steve let me throw it." And I think with this show, you can really explore how big of shoes Steve left for Sam to fill and everything like that. And it's like, I can't be Captain America. I'm not Captain America. Cap had 70 years.
And he had a serum.
And he had a serum. I just am not Captain America. But I am. I have to be.
Yeah. And you know what? I'm just really excited to see what this show is going to do. You know, the basic synopsis right now is that picking up after Endgame, the government is interested in creating their own Captain America, which is going to be John Walker, played by what's his name's son? I'm blanking. Oh my gosh, I hate it when I do. Wyatt Russell, Kurt Russell's son, is playing the new Captain America that the government is initiating. I think that's really cool. I think that's really interesting because that's exactly how it happened in the comics. And they don't want to go with Sam Wilson for whatever reason. And the whole story kind of focuses around that. I think that's like really exciting because my personal fan theory is that I think they're going to offer it to James Barnes, Bucky first, and Bucky's going to decline.
Yeah, I don't think they would give it to Bucky just because of all Bucky has done in the MCU.
Yeah, I mean, I think it could be an interesting point for character development between him and Falcon would be if Bucky had turned it down from the government. And then because I think the government would want Bucky, and I think Bucky's a more to me, I mean, I always liked Bucky as Captain America more than Sam because I just liked Sam as Falcon. And I'm not like a huge fan of taking characters that are known for being themselves and turning them into a different character. Like the Winter Soldier was never like super like, oh my gosh, like that character is so his own thing. It's like, no, I mean, he's Bucky and he came back and it just kind of makes sense for him to be Cap. I'm speaking it from the comics.
I think to be Cap is a lot about the morals as well as the physical ability. And
yeah, but I mean,
he's a lot more of a stand-up guy than Bucky Barnes.
Whoa, hold on. What did
Bucky has done for the Russian government and the MCU?
He didn't do it by choice. I mean, I just think.
But at the same time, and he wasn't the bully. He was an all right guy before, but at the same time, he was sort of like a Chad. Like, oh yeah, he's just.
I don't know about that. I think that's I think we've just spent more time with Sam Wilson than we have with Bucky. I don't think there's any serious character judgment we can make about Sam.
No, we spent all Civil War and Winter Soldier with Bucky.
Yeah, I know, but he's still like getting his memories back and everything. He hasn't been developed in the same way as Sam. I think it's fair to make Sam Captain America, but I really just do like Falcon. I just think Falcon is cool in his own without being Captain America. I'm a huge proponent in just when it comes to characters that are like minority characters, I kind of like it better when they have their own identity and they're not stepping into the identity of a previously Caucasian character. I just think it makes it a little bit less unique, and it just brings less attention to the unique parts of the characters that were originally minorities. So that's my small thing. It made a little bit more sense why Bucky was Cap in the comics. I don't think that's going to happen in the films. It's a little unfortunate. I think if they made a couple different.
Well, in the comics, Falcon was also Cap. So
after Bucky, yeah.
So
like a long time after Bucky, but
I'm gonna say my number 2 because Falcon and the Winter Soldier isn't my number 2. It's my number 1.
What? Oh, I was wrong. No way.
It was Loki.
Dude, I thought Loki was your number 1. I was so sure that Loki was your number 1.
Nah.
All right, so
I knew you were thinking that, but Loki is my number 2. I'm really excited for Loki, like super incredibly excited for Loki. But Loki is my number 2.
All right, dude, walk me through this, man.
Man,
What?
I love Tom Hiddleston, and I really love. I know this Loki isn't the same Loki from Thor Ragnarok, but I really love
Mhm.
Loki's character arc in Thor Ragnarok. Learning that, you know what, I am kind of the bad guy, but I don't want to just be the bad guy anymore. And it was very interesting. And I think after Thor Ragnarok, there was a lot of big character development for both Loki and Thor. Um, and then Loki got killed in the first 5 minutes of Infinity War. So I would really like this Loki almost to go through the same thing almost and go through another character development and everything like that.
I think it would be really cool to have a scene where this new Loki actually gets to see how he died in different timelines or
Yeah,
what his
absolutely.
life was like. I think that would be really, really cool if there was a scene where we get to
Because
see what happens in Infinity War, and then the writers actually go off the chain and they say, "Hey, here's another alternate universe where Loki died, or Loki, you know, like
yeah,
teams up with Thanos and then dies in the snap." You know, or here's
yeah.
another universe where Loki teams up with the Avengers and he sacrifices himself to get the Soul Stone. You know, it's like I think that would be really cool. Like, you know, that's the one thing I am really excited about that show for is some more time travel.
Because in the movies, Loki dies like 4 times or something like that. I would really love him to just that be a thing in the show. Is like he always fakes his death or whatever.
I think that could get a little old, but I am pretty I do like that.
I would also, and I know this is probably not going to happen, but I would really love this 2012 Loki that the show is going to be centering around to maybe like towards the season finale or something like that, meet the Loki from our timeline. Like, oh, he didn't actually get killed by Thanos. It was another fake out.
I would hate it if that was another fake out.
I really
'Cause I
would.
thought Loki had a pretty meaningful death, and I don't know. I'm dude. The MCU, in my opinion, does a terrible job with killing off characters.
I
Because they,
agree, but I really love
yeah,
the stick that Loki has with faking his death.
yeah. I mean, it's funny, I guess. I don't know. I think if they didn't do it with so many other characters, it would bother me less. But you know, it's just like Nick Fury had an amazingly impactful death in Winter Soldier, and then he just came back, and it's like, right, because Marvel doesn't know how to keep characters dead. You know,
They
it's
killed
whatever. I mean, it's like, what does Nick?
Quicksilver.
Yeah, and that was, oh, dude. Honestly, I if Quicksilver is not in WandaVision, I'm gonna have an issue because I think that's a perfect opportunity to revive him. So then you can have Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver back together, and then bring Magneto in later. Like, I just don't. If the writers miss that opportunity, they're brain dead.
I don't think they're gonna be Magneto's kids.
Well, there's a little plot hole opening for there though, because see in the comics, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were adopted by another family and did not know that they were adopted and actually the children of Magneto.
Yeah,
So there's a really good chance that they could have used the Mind Stone, the Hydra guys in that lab where we first meet Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. They could have used the Mind Stone to activate a mutant gene, and I think that would be amazing. So I think chances are they will be the
which would
children of
mean those two
Magneto.
were the very first mutants in the universe.
Yeah, to be activated. Or I think they'll probably do it. They'll probably do a flashback and say that Wolverine was one of the first to be activated, like Wolverine or maybe even Apocalypse. You know, I think there'll be a lot of ones, but they would be the first visually shown mutants in the MCU in
Yeah,
retrospective uh, continuity.
maybe we'll see.
So your number one is Loki, right?
My number
Oh
one
no, I'm sorry. Number one is
Falcon
Falcon
and
the
the
Winter
Winter
Soldier.
Soldier. What's your number one?
My number one is What If.
Ah,
And that's actually, you know, for all the amazing reasons we talked about before, the reason why I made it to number one for me is because I love the animation. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And I'm kind of just in for a series that's not going to take itself too seriously or need to be a
yeah,
big part of the rest of the universe. And I'm not going to lie, I'm a little Marvel burnout, just a little bit.
I'm not.
Um,
I can keep going.
yeah, I'm gonna need like only quality and only things that are very preferential for me for a while, and that's not for any particular reason. I mean, I just, I guess like the last three Marvel films just they weren't.
Don't you dare disrespect my favorite Marvel films.
No, I mean, what? Huh? All three of those are your favorite Marvel films?
No, not necessarily. I mean, Endgame is my number 2. And if Iron Man wasn't made, Endgame would be my number 1.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this. It's just the last three Marvel films they didn't blow my mind like some of the other films have.
Oh my gosh.
And
Endgame
I
absolutely
liked.
blew my mind.
That's cool. That's cool that it blew your mind. I'm glad. Yeah, no, I enjoyed Endgame. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Endgame's a bad movie or anything. It's just, we had Captain Marvel, which I literally forced myself to watch.
Yeah, Captain Marvel is near the bottom of my list.
Yeah, then we had Endgame, which I thought was a great finale to the entire series. And it felt so great that I was like, I don't really need to see another Marvel movie. I was like, you know what? I think I'm good.
That is a valid point.
Yeah, and then we had Spider-Man Far From Home, which I know you love that movie. I didn't care for it very much at all. So, great. I mean, for me, it was a good ending. I just didn't need any. I don't need any more Marvel for a while. So that's what makes What If so appealing, is that it's going to go back into previous movies and kind of make them more fun to watch now, knowing some of the things that they're going to make fun of about themselves, or some what if scenarios that I think is just going to make the whole universe feel even better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, my top, choices for Disney Plus series like Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision, they're up there because I want to see more of those characters. But I don't know. I mean, just because I like those characters, if there were movies, you would get my butt in the seat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no doubt, If they made Captain America 4, I'd be going to see that movie. If they made a Wanda solo movie, I'd be in the seats. But anyone below, I would go see a She-Hulk movie. But I would not go see a Loki movie. I would not go see a Hawkeye movie. I would not see a Ms. Marvel movie, and I would not see a Moon Knight movie. I would wait for all of them to come out.
All right. Yeah, that's our list. Falcon from
Yeah.
at the top, Miss Marvel at the bottom.
What If at the top for me, Moon Knight at the bottom. Yeah.
All right. And if you, dear listener, have any additions, you're like, man, you know what, Miss Marvel, I think it's going to be the best show we've ever seen, then let us know, because I'm really interested.
And please tell me why. I would honestly love to get some comments and actually talk about that in a future episode. Please leave a comment, because my like everything below 5 for me, please, or everything below 6. Yeah. So that's Hawkeye, Ms. Marvel, and Moon Knight. Please tell me why I should be excited for any of those, because I don't frankly know.
Yeah, totally. For me as well. I'll probably be in the comments and whatnot, and I don't know about Rob, but we'll see.
I'll be sneaking around.
Yeah, sneaking around. Yeah, so thanks so much for listening to In English Please.
First episode
of In English Please. You can find Rob on Instagram, right?
Yep. You can find me on Instagram, on my personal Instagram at Rob_Mitchell with 2 L's 4. Or you can actually find me across my company Instagram, where I do marketing work with an amazing team of mine. We do all sorts of creative marketing stuff for small businesses and mid-market businesses. I'm so not in the mode to promote my brand right now. That's so bad. Quarantine has done a number on me. And you can find that at Mitchell Media LLC on Instagram. So yeah.
And you can find me on Instagram at TDWFan, also on Twitter at TDWFan. And I also have another podcast that I'm doing where I read different short stories and poems that I wrote. Rob actually just got featured on that. You can find that on Spotify, YouTube, Podbean, some other places. It's called TDW Writes. So yeah, thanks so much for listening. Any last words of wisdom, Rob?
Don't throw fruit at the computer.
Don't throw food at the computer.
Fruit.
Fruit at the computer.
If anybody knows what that's a reference to, I will literally, like, Corona or not, I will hug you if you know what that's a reference to.
Rob will give you the coronavirus.
I will get it from you too if you have it.
All right, I'm Peter. This is Rob, and that's our show.
That's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.
Bye. 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 Bye.
Oh, that was fun. But I suppose maybe they're taking a cue from the Iron Man 3's rendition of AIM, which I thought kind of sucked.
I'm getting a call.
Are we both getting house
It's
parties?
the lads.
Let's
not.
yeah, let's not, obviously, because we're doing a podcast.